Did you think the fat loss was going to be easy? I did, and although I did end up losing 110 pounds, I made a lot of mistakes along the way that slowed me down. So in this video, I'm going to share a few lessons about fat loss with you so that you can actually achieve your New Year's resolution this time. Lesson 1. So the first thing you've got to understand about fat loss in 2026 is that it's made out to be way more complicated than it actually is. The fitness industry used to be a place where you could go to for advice, but now it has turned into a complete cesspool of dog shit. There's so much conflicting advice out there that most people are giving up before even losing their first 10 pounds, just because of the information overload. So make sure that you ignore most of the mainstream advice because it's just noise, made to get clicks and views and attention rather than to inform people. Lesson 2. So when I first started trying to lose fat, I would go to the gym 6 days a week for 2 hours at a time. And my diet was so strict that I would skip out on family dinners because it was quote unquote unhealthy. But of course, before long, I would relapse on my quote unquote healthy diet and workout routine because it was just too much to keep up with. And this vicious cycle repeated itself many times in my fat loss journey. So much so that it led to 6 months of me getting nowhere, making zero progress, losing 0 pounds. So lesson number 2 is to simply never sacrifice sustainability when it comes to fat loss. If you can't do it forever, then do not do it for a month, a week, or a day. Because there's no point in getting temporary results. Nobody cares if you're in shape for a week or 2 weeks or even a month. If you're gonna get in shape, you might as well stay in shape. Lesson number 3. Have you ever gone through a phase where you lose a few pounds but then you're just stuck at a certain weight? Well, you'll be happy to hear that me and everybody else who's gone through a weight loss journey has gone through this exact phase. And this is where most people quit because they feel like they're not making any progress. And so what's even the point of doing any of this, right? But the truth is that this phase is blown way out of proportion because it's actually very simple to fix. And how you fix it is, first, you re-examine your situation and your approach to fat loss right now. And then once you re-examine, then what you do next is lesson number 4. Lesson number 4. So let me tell you a story that's going to show you how you can fix your stalled progress with fat loss. So I play tennis and I recently had a private coaching session with a guy who's very experienced. And I was expecting him to teach me some secret new technique or some special way of hitting the ball. But instead, we spent 2 hours working on the most basic shit ever. He taught me how to properly hit a serve, how to properly hit a forehand, and how to properly hit a backhand with good form. Sultan, but what does any of this have to do with fat loss? Bro, literally everything. Because if you feel stuck with your fat loss, then it's not because there's some secret technique that you don't know about. It's because you haven't mastered the fundamentals yet. I've lost 110 pounds, and even after that, I've gone through multiple weight loss transformations, gaining and losing weight. And never once have I made any progress by obsessing over the minute details of fat loss. It has always been the consistent execution of the basics that's led to me constantly losing fat whenever I want to. And so what this means is that the next time you see a trendy diet or supplement that promises that it'll make you lose 30 pounds in 1 month, you ignore that shit. Because like I said before, the fitness industry now is full of grifters who'll tell you anything to get you to pull out your wallet. So here's what you do instead. You track 2 things and you intentionally fuck everything else off. If it's not these 2 things that I'm going to show you, then it doesn't matter. Oh, but there's this new diet and my friend lost 20 pounds on it. Don't care. There's this new supplement that melts fat. Don't care. You only focus on 2 things and watch yourself lose fat on autopilot. Lesson number 5. So the 2 things you're going to track to lose fat are these. Number 1, your food. So you've probably already heard people say, oh, what's your diet? Well, what the fuck does that mean? Am I supposed to stare into the eyes of the hamburger that I'm going to eat? No. What you've got to do is, at least for some time, weigh your food and input it into an app. Now don't get me wrong, you don't have to do this forever, but to get a general idea of things when you're starting out, you have to weigh your food. Because most people's estimates regarding calories are way off. Now for the app you use to put your food into, honestly, I just use MyFitnessPal, and I wish I was sponsored by them because I'd be fucking rich, but I just use it without them paying me. So MyFitnessPal is the app to go. The second thing you've got to track is your daily steps. Again, if you've watched fat loss videos on YouTube, then you've probably heard this advice of quote unquote, just move more, bro. And although that isn't bad advice, it's just not specific enough. What you have to do is you've got to increase your average daily step count. And There's a million and one ways you can do this, but the simplest and easiest one is simply to walk 30 to 45 minutes every day. This is really easy on your joints and on your mind. Recently, it's so funny. I had a guy leave a comment on one of my videos and he said, "Bro, running isn't tough on your joints if you do it right." I don't know, maybe this guy runs on air or something, because I have friends who run long distance and they're always complaining about their knees and ankles hurting. Now, I did kind of lie to you when I said that there's only 2 things that you should care about, because there is just one more thing. Now, the truth is that you can lose weight without this, but if you do, then you'll end up looking like one of those long distance runners. And if you dig that look, then it's fine if you prefer to look like you're sick, but I personally prefer to have some muscle on my body. Which brings us to lesson number 6. One of the first things I ask people who join my minimalist fitness community is, how often do you lift? And no, let me just clear this up. Lifting isn't going to make you bulky and you're not going to get too big accidentally. In fact, gaining any muscle at all takes a lot of time, intention, and effort. But if you do lift weights while trying to lose weight, then you'll lose fat and end up revealing a toned body rather than a skinny one. Just one more thing, if you're gonna lift weights, make sure that you track this one thing, which is your workouts. Because if you're not keeping an eye on the weight that you're lifting in the gym, then you can't really say that you're making any progress. You can use a notebook for this, but I don't know if you want to be seen with a notebook in the gym, you look like a dork. But for me and all of my clients inside my community, we just use an app that allows us to track all of our lifts. Lesson number 7. Now that I've told you exactly how you can lose fat and get ripped, it should be easy, right? But wait, I'm willing to put down money that this isn't the first fat loss video that you've watched. In fact, you've probably watched a few videos before this one. So what's been stopping you from losing fat? Let's be honest now. It's the fact that you haven't had anyone keeping you accountable for doing everything that I've told you about in this video so far. And this is where having a friend start his fat loss journey with you can come in handy. Or if you'd like to be held accountable by me and all the people inside of my community, you can click the link below and join us. I'll see you in the next video.